he figured out who she was, he felt like he had a big fish.
He followed her home. Hey family, and welcome back to another episode on our true crime series. So today you guys will be talking about Samira Frasch, who was a supermodel as well as a aspiring singer, who was found dead face down in her pool. Now, how she got there is the question. We're going to dive into that and explain how she got there.
She didn't swim there.
She didn't swim there. Most definitely not. So, Samira was in Paris when she met Dr. Frasch, who was a very well-off podiatrist. And when I say well-off, I mean well-off. He had, 49 different
cars,
foreign cars.
Sports cars.
The nurses and stuff that worked with him bragged about every time he came to work, he had a new car. They never seen the same car twice. So he was very, very well off.
I mean, from Rolls Royces to Lamborghinis, like the top of the line. Like he
was a baller, baby.
Balling.
Yeah, so he was getting that cake for sure. Dr. Frosh was a very promiscuous man. He loved, strip clubs. He loved women. Basically, if he wanted to date somebody and they agreed to date him, he was all in. He was putting them up in apartments, buying them what they wanted, giving them the cash. He was doing the whole nine. In today's terms, we'll call him a trick, basically.
Or sugar daddy.
Or sugar daddy, basically.
Glam would have been a sugar daddy.
For sure.
He was
for sure.
He was the best sugar daddy.
He was definitely a sugar daddy. He had several women. At one time, he had his wife. Mm-hmm. He went to Paris. He took a trip to Paris without his wife. Mm-hmm. At this time, he was married when he met Samira, and convinced her to come back to the United States, and he put her up, basically. Eventually, his wife caught wind of everything that was going on, and she ended up leaving him, and so he ended up pursuing, basically, Samira. Eventually, they did end up getting married and having a baby. They had 2 kids, actually. Yeah. They ended up having 2 children. But that didn't stop him from doing what he wanted to do. So he even, I remember at one point watching this series, another girl that he was talking to ran up to Samira and stabbed her.
That was
out the blue. His mistress.
Yeah, he had a mistress. Which who also had a baby by him.
Yes. Ran up to Samira and stabbed her and ran off.
Outside their house.
Yeah.
Which they stayed in a gated community, $1 million home. Like, I don't even know how she got through the gate. Maybe the front security guard knew her because they never talked about how she got there. But one night, Samira and her husband was leaving. I don't know if they was going out for dinner or what, but
it was something.
Some lady some person just jumped out of the bush and stabbed her, and he fought her off and things like that. But later on, it was said that it was the mistress, mm-hmm. And we think in this, maybe she wanted on the inside of the house.
She definitely wanted. She wanted more than what he was giving.
Yeah, so he had he had put her. He was saying that I'm gonna do for you and the child, long as you stay hush. You know what I'm saying?
As long as you don't say anything, I'm gonna take care of y'all. Basically.
He did that for so long, but I guess we do know at some point, because when he moved Samira in, he met her over in France.
In Paris. Yeah.
Paris, France. So that's where she was from, and he met her during Fashion Week. Now, Samira was known to be like one of the biggest, most successful fashion models in her country. Right. So when he met her and he figured out who she was, he felt like he had a big fish.
Right.
So he lured her over to the United States promised her fame and fortune, which he had it. Bro had a bag.
Right.
And he got her over. His wife caught wind of it, like my wife I already told y'all. She ended up leaving him. So that's when he took the time to move Samira in. Things was going perfect. They had a child together. They got married at some point. things got rough, and she wanted to leave him more than one time,
Yeah,
but
she did.
he would go out and make these big purchases and just promise that he would do better, and pretty much
I
it was the
remember
same
one
thing.
particular time when she wanted to leave him. He made a believer out of her, because keep in mind she's come over from Paris. She don't have, and he was fronting everything. So any and everything that she wanted, he paid for. So she didn't have anything of her own at that point in time.
Kind of
And
handicapping
so
her.
he handicapped her for sure. So I remember they end up getting into an altercation or something, and he did call the police and press charges on her. So she went to jail. So while she was in jail, who was she going to call? She didn't have anybody, here that she could call to help her out. So he made her, basically say, hey, I need him. I need him to get me out. I'm gonna need him. So after that, he did get her out, and they, went on with their relationship. But it is said that they, they didn't have the best relationship. They argued all the time. It was always something when it came to him. But as y'all know, he was out here with these girls, baby.
Bro,
and so
he loved the strip clubs. Like, they had on the show some of his, what would you call them? It wouldn't be his assistants, but well, maybe they would be his assistant. His doctor's assistant. He was the doctor, and he had some lady assistants in the office with him, and they was on the show, and a lot of them. Well, it was said one of them was on there, and she said that when she first met Samira, when she came up to the doctor's office, she had basically told her, like, you shouldn't be with him. Like, he not controlling, but he do too much. Like, he not gonna do right by you. She told him that he was in love. He was infatuated with black women. He loved black women. Keep in mind, his first wife was white. So when he went out and had this child with his mistress, she was a black woman. He took this trip to Paris by himself without his wife. He met Samira, who was a black woman.
All the other girls that he was dealing with was black women.
He loved the strip club. They said he would go to the strip club. Like, he wouldn't miss a night. He would be there on the nights he was going to be there. He would spend money. Bro had a bag, like, seriously. And pretty much everything was going okay, and then everything went downhill. And at this point, she wanted to leave him plenty of times. For why she didn't leave him was a million different reasons. For one, he was fronting everything. So, like, even if she wanted to, like, how was she gonna get out here and do it on her own? Like, her parents, her whole family is overseas. So he got her in Florida. So, and she didn't want to go from $1 million lifestyle to working at McDonald's. Like, that ain't what she was gonna do. So she kind of had to put up with him. And then she had 2 kids by him. And at this point, she was kind of like just dealing with it. And I do know, did they get a divorce at some point? She won the house?
So it came to a point where she had enough. At this point, she decided to go ahead and proceed with a divorce and push through with it.
And she
ended up getting a lot of things. And the house was included in that. A lot of his fortune she ended up getting. And of course, he didn't like that.
So at this point, she can do for herself. I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And then on this one particular evening, he followed her home. He said his claims were, she was drinking champagne all night. He ended up getting the children and taking the children. She wanted, just a little time to herself. So he ended up packing the kids' bag and taking the kids with him to a beach. Just so she can sleep
to that beach house. They had a beach house that was in another part of Florida, which was like an hour away. But at this point, keep in mind, the night that he claimed that he said she had consumed 2 bottles of champagne. So he claimed she was drunk. And so he said that she just wanted time to herself. He took the kids and he left. Now, mind you, they, like I said before, they stayed in $1 million home. Like, this is a gated community, luxury houses, so they had a gate. So when he was caught, when he said that everything was fine and dandy, that she had been drinking champagne and just wanted time to herself was his reason for leaving. Well, we stay in a gated community, so every gated community have cameras at the gate. So he followed her home that night. And the camera showed that when she pulled up to the gate, he pulled up behind her, and she actually like wanted him to leave and not follow her because she bagged up and like rammed his car.
Hit his car, yeah.
So it was obviously that they was into it. Like they was having a confrontation, and he didn't never mention that part.
Right.
He claimed everything was fine.
Right.
So they the gate opened up. She put the code in. The gate opened up. So when she went through, he proceeded right behind her.
Right.
But at this point, where he claimed he took the kids and she just wanted time to herself, well, the camera did show him leaving the next morning, but no signs of the wife.
Samira,
so
yeah.
We just never heard nothing else from her, and she was found by, they had a maintenance man because I mean, you got a rich guy, he's not doing much on his own, so they had a maintenance man who do their pool, who cleaned the yard, and he was the one that actually informed
her, yeah.
the police and everything like that about, he had been calling, no one has answered, but he was due to be at work. So he said he went around the house and went through the back, and when he went in the backyard, he saw a lady floating in the swimming pool face down. So I mean, nobody is floating in a swimming pool face down.
Right. He claimed, and Dr. Frosch's claims were, she just wanted to sleep. They never told him that she was found in a pool face down. They never told him anything like that. But when they were talking to him, this came out of his mouth. And they never told him what happened to her. So I'm going to read this quick article about the autopsy. And it's according to, what is this website? According to Insta Chronicles, the autopsy report shows that Samira's death was caused by drowning and blunt force trauma to her head just before that. After an extremely lengthy trial, Adam Frost was finally charged with first-degree murder and a lifetime in prison, although he kept pleading guilty. In the Samira Frasch murder of the wife, a wealthy doctor evoked the interest of people from all over the world, and the couple looked like they were blissful and perfect on the outside, but on the inside, they really wasn't. So he was eventually charged for her murder. When it boiled down to everything, and they looked at everything from the phone calls to when he actually left. He claimed she was drinking 2 bottles of champagne, but they didn't find any alcohol in her system. It was just everything lined up, and everything pointed to him. From the divorce that they were having, and everything she was getting, he didn't like that. So yeah, he killed her basically, and threw her in the pool.
And it was a golf club found by the swimming pool.
By the swimming pool, yeah.
Which we think was the blunt force trauma object to her head. And the maintenance man had pretty much told the police and things like that they was always into it. Yep. Their relationship was not what it seemed.
Yep.
Yeah, he had money. Yeah, he had 40, 50 foreign cars. She had all this pricey stuff. Like she had gold chandeliers, gold chairs, all this stuff. But
that means nothing if I don't have your loyalty and I don't have you. Basically, if I have to share you, all of that stuff means nothing. Now, I mean, you do have some women out here that enjoy stuff like that.
That's cool with that.
But I'm definitely not one of them, and Samira definitely wasn't either. So it's just crazy. It's crazy, you know,
She
how
looking,
you get her over here from here. You could have left her where she was.
yeah,
She
was
was
fine.
perfectly fine
Doing
where she
well for herself.
was.
She was one of the
Right.
most successful supermodels in all of Paris.
Right.
I know she was an aspiring music artist, a pop star. She actually has a video on YouTube. I'll link
A
that
music
below.
video, yeah.
She has one music video on YouTube. I mean, she she was lured over by money, and it ended up costing her her life.
Right.
And he has still. This is weird because they say he pled guilty, but he claimed he was framed.
Right.
I don't get that. Like that's weird. But
You
nobody
ain't killed
framed you,
her.
bro. You done it.
Right.
They end up one way they proved it. He said he didn't have her cell phone. He took her cell phone and
They found her cell phone in the diaper bag.
yeah, they found her cell phone in the diaper bag, and he claimed that what did he say? She left it in there, and but that wasn't the case because he claimed she left her phone in there, but on the way to their beach house, he was actually calling his own cell phone from her cell phone to make it look like she was still alive calling him.
Right.
So Doctor thought he was smart, but Doctor really wasn't smart because they ended up proving that by the cell phone towers. Because you know, every time you use a cell phone, it's gonna bing off a service tower.
Right.
So they able to tell, hey, this phone was working and it was beaming off this tower, not the one by your $1 million home, sir.
Right.
That he claimed that she was at home calling him. But
that's
yeah,
crazy.
That's what happened. He claimed he was framed. I mean, he murdered her. That episode is from I believe that's from Fatal Vows, actually.
Yep. Fatal Vows. Yep. And I really feel for their children because you didn't only lose one parent, you lost both of them. So
yeah, and they're still in this world somewhere.
Yep. So that's what happened to Samira Frasch. It's a very sad story. But yeah, we wanted to bring this to you guys, and hopefully you guys like it. If you do like our content, make sure you leave us a comment down below and let us know. And we love y'all and appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, love, and happiness, y'all.